Hi, I wanted to share a little bit of information with some dear friends of mine, and I thought video was the best way to get the complete message across, and I'll explain why I've selected video as my medium today. In the midst of communication, there are things that happen. Sometimes messages are misinterpreted. Sometimes the perception, I believe, does become the reality, but it's an incomplete perception. And when we talk about communication, there are three key components to a communication message that in the midst of email, we don't take advantage of all three, thus the video. If you think about communication and the message as a whole, it's comprised of three key parts. 55% of the message effectiveness is tied to nonverbal communication or body language. We don't get that in email, I understand that, and so this is why I'm shooting the video. Secondly, 38% of the message, another significant portion, is attributed to the pitch and tone that a person uses. You could hear that in my voice changes, I understand that. That helps communicate the message more effectively. Now, given those two large components, 7% of the message, only 7%, is actually made up of the words. And this is where we get in trouble with email. Now, we are all aware of the email thread that I am probably referring to, and I understand that what I had to say in the email thread was really based on 7% of words, but really as I was typing it, there was so much more going on. And so what I wanted to do, really in a non-sarcastic, in a bridge-building, reconciliation sort of way, I wanted to read to you or verbally say what I was typing so that we can move those words, the 7%, into the body of work, which is really the tone, the pitch, and my nonverbal body language type of information, so that we can truly understand what it was that I was trying to communicate. I apologize for only using 7% the first time. Hopefully after this, you watch this video, you'll see that it's a more complete message. Now, I will ask for you to forgive me a little bit as I glance down at my computer screen. That is where the email thread is that I typed, and so I'm going to be glancing down periodically. I have not committed it to memory. Here we go. Okay. I think I feel bad, but I don't know if I really do, or if I think I do, or if I feel like I'm thinking that I do, or if I think that I'm feeling like I do. Regardless of how I feel or think, I do believe that the feelings of others are more important. So, for hurting other people's feelings, I am sorry. In every group there is a voice of reason, and admittedly and proudly, I am not. Kelly, it is nice to have your voice of reason. Now, in the future, you can count on me to be a consistent voice of sarcasm, or voice of elitism, or voice of bad jokes, or voice of compassion. That last one was actually my voice of sarcasm speaking. Or voice of fashion. Thank you to Beth for helping me find that voice. Or voice of voices, or voice of Eddie Vedder, or voice of African American Christian Republicans who spend way too much time with the voices in their head. I love all of my friends, and you guys get me through the day. Now, as you can see, there was much more than just the words on a page as I was reciting that or saying that. In fact, if we were sitting together as a group, I would have probably, maybe not as wittedly, been able to come up with that, but it was pretty quick as I was typing it out. Let me just say this. Kat and Kelly, there was never intended to be a personal attack on either one of you, and I truly, eyes to the camera as if I were running for office. Kelly, thank you for being a voice of reason, and I think every group needs a voice of reason sometimes. That is why we're such a great group of friends, is we all fill a different role. And again, like I mentioned, I am not the voice of reason. We need others to do that. Now, what I would also like to add is I hope we can keep these communications going. These email threads are hilarious. In fact, they really do get me through the day. But what I'd like to add to that is as we're typing these, or as we're reading these, remember, it's only 7%. We are going to make 93% of a mistake sometimes because we are including the tone and pitch and nonverbal body language without the benefit of the other person actually doing it. So here are some ways we could remedy it. One, we can always shoot videos and have video threads on YouTube. That would be pretty funny. Secondly, since that's not very good use of all of our time, the second thing we can do is maybe we'll start using emoticons more. Al, I like the fact that you have the winky eye. That's nice. That helps know that you are kind of joking. There's a hint of sarcasm, hint of humor. That's what that emoticon means. Or we can use all caps if we want to try to communicate tone and pitch, or ... if we want to slow down the pace. There are things that we can do even within the body of text to try to have a more complete message. But in any event, if there is ever a miscommunication, let's ask. Call each other out. Say, what did you mean? And sometimes it might be helpful just to pick up a phone, because then at least you have the 7% and the 38% tone and pitch. You'll still miss out on a little bit of the rest, but let's try to make it work. Love you guys all very much, and I hope you've appreciated this episode of Self-Deprecating Humor.